There's something that I saw the other day, or I think it kind of happened. Yeah, it seems like it happened like 2 weeks ago. But I got this video here from 60 Minutes talking about Germany rearms, modernizes the military decades after embracing a peace dividend. And this is only like, what, 13 minutes long, so it won't be too long. But I did remember that there was the Germany voted to bring back involuntary military service programs for 18-year-olds, which honestly, in my opinion, is a little. I just don't know how you're going to get that in today's world. Like, especially when half the men feel demoralized by their own countries, why would they want to die for it? Like, no one wants to die in a rich man's war at the end of the day. I mean, I understand why people wouldn't want to die. I mean, who remembers all the protests? I learned about it. Obviously, I wasn't around for it. But we can go look back at all the times that there was forced military service and how that went. I mean, I believe Jimmy Carter was the guy that gave amnesty to all the defectors. So, and it's not really the topic of discussion at the end of the day, but that's just an example of, like, we've done it here in America, and it kind of goes back and forth, especially now. Like, when people don't feel like these governments and their countries are really benefiting them anymore, why would they want to go fight for it? Plain and simple. But here's a little article from the BBC, and take with you from you will, they did lie about some of the Trump stuff the other day. So, and I guess that's becoming a lawsuit. Which, if you want to look into that, I can look into that. But Germany Parliament, I have this prepared.
Bundestag.
Okay, Germany's Parliament, the
Bundestag.
Bundestag, has voted to introduce voluntary military service in a move aimed at boosting national defense after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. It marks a significant shift in Germany's approach to its military and follows Chancellor Friedrich Merz's push to create Europe's strong conventional army. And it makes sense why Europe would make this move. I mean, especially after the United States was already kind of telling them, hey, we're not going to fund you anymore. Hey, we're going to take our military back. So good luck. So it's no surprising here that Germany decided to actually do something about that. The change means that all 18-year-olds in Germany will be sent a questionnaire from January 2026 asking if they are interested and willing to join the armed forces. I can already tell them that answer, and it's most likely going to be no. The form will be mandatory for men and voluntary for women. So, no equal rights there. I guess it's for a form, to be fair, so I won't go too hard in that one. Students at schools across. Well, I mean, okay, well, if it's for a form, that means they probably won't even be. Did they have to go? The women have to go into the service too? I mean, look, these are the equality questions I want answers to. Students at schools across Germany have said that they will join strikes in many as 90 cities on Fridays protest against the move. So that's about 5 days from now. Many young Germans either oppose the new law or are wow, I really can't say that. Skeptical. You know, I again see, because I'm thinking about this, if it was me in that shoe, and I guess, to be fair, it could happen to me any day. You never know how this world happens. I just don't. I just really have a hard time right now with young people doing this, because look, when the guys were doing it for World War II, there was like, we were fighting evil. So there was this. Pearl Harbor happened, which that's a whole side conversation itself. But Pearl Harbor happened, and it grew this, like, nationalism, this pride of, like, we gotta defeat the Germans for the sake of our country. So you're going to get people that enlist. I mean, you're going to get people who lie about their age to do that. But times are obviously different. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't feel like they're getting benefited anymore from today's modern systems and from today's governments. I mean, they're looking at all the. It's like someone's going to make the argument that, oh, well, why doesn't Germany just enlist all their immigrants? Do they join the military? And, like, look, to be fair, there's some valid points there. But that's what people are seeing. Like, why would they want to go fight for a country that they know that they're really just going to represent not their own citizens? And look, I'm sure Germany does take care of its citizens. But I did hear from a German themselves that, and this was about a year and a half ago. Yeah, roughly about a year ago. She literally told me that she was from Germany, and over the winter their heater, like their heat, was shut off. like during certain parts of the day, and they'd have to rely on like wood and stuff like that. Now, I'm not speaking for all Germans now, but I do know that there was a energy crisis, like a heating crisis out there, and it was because of all the Russian oil that they were using. So yeah, this a lot of this militarization now, like if the Russian and Ukraine war just stopped tomorrow, a lot of this would probably set aside. But honestly, I still believe that there would be countries and people still militarizing now, regardless, just because that's just how the climate is now. Let's see. We don't want to spend half of our year of our lives locked up in barracks, being trained, drilled obedience, and learning to kill. The organizers of the protests wrote in a statement posted on social. War offers no prospects for the future and will destroy our livelihoods. Yeah, yeah, no, factual statement right there. In Hamburg alone, about 1,500 people were expected to join the protests, and school head teachers warned their parents not to take their children out of school for the day. Okay. Germany's MP voted 323 to 272 to back the change. Oh. And there it is. When I again, I'm thinking like I'm not a German obviously, but if I was reading this as a German, I'd be infuriating. I'd be infuriated. I'd be so pissed. I mean, I would see this going, I'm no way in hell I'm doing that. I mean, I understand it's just for, it looks like it's just 18 and 19-year-olds, but still, like, who would want to do that? Germany's MP voted 323 to 272 to back the change, making their military the latest European country to launch some form of revised military service. Last month, France said it was introducing a 10-month voluntary military training program for 18 and 19-year-olds. Again, the same philosophy goes down to France, too. Like, if I'm a young person that's 18, 19 years old, right? And I'm looking at the current state of my country, and I don't feel like it's quite representing what we should be doing, why would I want to go die for it? Like, why would I want to go die? And I really, I don't want to keep sounding, we keep repeating this, but it's true. Why would I want to fight for some corporations and wealthy man's fucking game? Who would? I mean, that's, after Vietnam, I mean, that's what the boys realized. They came home, they were disrespected. People spat on them. People treated them horribly. That's why when you see a veteran from Vietnam, they always say it's actually better to say welcome home than thank you for your service, because they never got that official welcome home message. And look, ask one of them. Ask them how they feel about the war. Now, obviously, a lot of them are probably prideful at the fact that they served the country, and they should be, because they did an honorable thing and serve our country. But when you now look at it from hindsight, like, did South Vietnam win? How many men did we lose over there? Same thing goes to France. Like, guys, people forget that France was also part of Afghanistan, Iraq too in the early 2000s. So there was men over there that were serving in those countries as well. I mean, I think the charade of people want to go die for their countries is not a thing. And I'm not saying that there isn't like a nationalism or there isn't like a pride when it comes to representing your country and talking about it, but again, you got to really convince people now if it's even worth it fighting for, because no one wants to do that. Like, let's just be honest, no one wants to go do that. No one disrespects the military now, right? Like, we all are happy that someone, at least in my opinion, like, that's why I'm always I always respect the military boys. I'm I'm so thankful for their service, because I don't want to do it. No disrespect towards them. They understand why I don't want to do it. So, forcing that upon 18, like, I'm kind of like all for, like, hey, let the boys get, like, in shape, work out for a little bit. Maybe they can learn some life skills, but we know how this is all going to get taken advantage of. This is how they start. And the government says that the military service will be voluntary for as long as possible. Really? But from July 27, all 18-year-old men will have taken medical exams to assess their fitness possible for military service. Universal medical exams were necessary. Defense Minister Boris, was it Pistorius, said that in the event of attack, Germany will not waste time determining who is operationally capable as the homeland protector and who is not. Germany's armed forces, I have prepared this one too. Bundeswehr. Germany's armed forces, the Bundeswehr, currently have around 182,000 service personnel. They want to increase that number to 20,000 over the next year. Good luck with that. I believe Germany also failed their recruitment numbers. That's why they're doing all this, because they had like a little like a, hey, come join, for the defense of our homeland. Russia, big and bad. No one did it. So now that's why they're trying to push it on the people. And that's where I think is wrong. It's like you guys tried it. Clearly the people don't like it. But instead of asking yourself, man, why do people not feel pride to serve our country? You're just going to continue what you're doing and then just say, fuck them. And people are sick of that. No one wants to hear that shit anymore from their governments. No one. The long-term aim is to raise the number to by the early 2030s to 200,000, 260,000, supplemented by approximately 200,000 reserves to meet the new NATO force targets and strengthen Germany's defenses. Yeah, we know we didn't want Germany to build, military because of the war. So we were like, yeah, your industrial complex was so insane, and we took half of your scientists. We don't want you guys to do that again. But now we're like, hey, bring it back. So who would have thought? Not me. While the plan is for voluntary service, if the security situation worsens or it's too few volunteers come forward, which is most likely going to be that second option, a form of mandatory military service could be considered by the bourgeoisie, something. If the war, oh here, I got it right here.
Bundeswehr.
I was what? I was way off. Oh wait, no, it's this one.
Bundestag.
The government. If war were to break out, the military would be able to draw questionnaires and medical exams for potential recruits. Like other European countries, Germany ran down the armed forces during peacetime years in 1990s. The Cold War, if it had any army, almost 500,000. Wow. Compulsory military service in Germany was ended in 2011 under Angela Merkel. But now, in the face of perceived threats from Russia and heavy pressure from Germany's traditional allies, the U.S., Merz has pledged to rebuild. Oh, God, I can't believe I gotta keep doing this. Bundeswehr into Europe's strongest conventional army. NATO countries would see under pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump's White House to increase their spending on defense. I mean, that only makes sense because we're giving them so much money. So I understand, like, pay it over. Enough's enough of us paying the bill. Incentives for voluntary service and relatively high, with promised salary for about £2,600 a month. In France, volunteers will be paid at least $800, $700 a month. A month? I get it. Like, half of these countries are dirt broke, including the United States because of our debt ceiling. But, dude, I guess, look, it's better than nothing, right? But come on. Give them a little bit more than that. Well, let them have a little something to live off of. Oh, one more time.
Bundestag.
The Bundestag was also set to vote on Friday for a pension reform bill, which will keep the state pensions current levels until 2031. The bill is a key pillar of coalition between Merz's conservatives and his center-left partner. Oh yeah, because that's the parliament. They, if they don't have enough seats in the parliament, they kind of have to team up. Even if they don't agree on a lot, that's just how they keep power. And it's also how they keep I believe it's the AFD, their conservative right party. That's how they keep them out of power too. Which I also believe that the government banned them, the AFD, from running for mayor elections, which is really weird. I mean, seems like election interference or something like that there. Who have just a slender governor majority. Yeah, just 12 votes. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. They have a very tiny majority there. However, there had doubts on whether to pass the parliamentary vote as younger members of Merz's conservatives threatened to rebel. That's what I mean. Like, there's a total generational gap here. There's a lot of old people think, oh yeah, you can just do it. Well, a lot of young people are like, I don't want to go die for this country because they ain't fucking representing what I'm thinking. They said the plan is for financial unsustainability and will leave younger generations shouldering the burden. I think I heard something from the Federal Reserve, like the chairman, and he even mentioned that he's concerned about it, but he's not concerned about it until it's the future. He even admitted that our debt ceiling in America will affect future generations. That's something that people need to kind of start understanding here. Like when they talk Democrat, Republican, conservative, or center-left party for Germany, we all need to understand here that we all got debts, specifically referring to the United States in this situation. Like we got a debt ceiling of what, 38 trillion, probably close to 40 trillion at this point. And how are we going to pay for that? I have a theory, which is that they're going to move all the debt onto a cryptocurrency because they can pretty much say, oh yeah, there's like 30 something trillion dollars is, and if we do the math, and we'll just say Bitcoin for simple terms. I don't think it's going to be Bitcoin. I think it would actually be a different coin. Don't know which one. I'm not the crypto expert there, so I'm not going to give recommendations. I just don't believe it's going to be Bitcoin. But you never know how life works out. But say let's use Bitcoin as the example. They can go, okay, well, 35 trillion in real life. Okay, well, it's only worth 3 trillion in Bitcoin. You see how they just totally wipe that debt down? You can make an argument that it's going to allow us to like reset a lot of the numbers, but at the same time, we would get rid of cash. So, yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not so. I'm not so sold on the idea the United States would be not against that. I wouldn't be surprised. But Germany's opposition far left party said it would abstain from voting, which means the coalition needs fewer votes to pass it, so it won't have to worry about potential rebels from its own ranks. Government crisis may narrowly been averted. And here's another one about France's military. So I think there's a little video attached to this one, so we'll watch this one about the specific, because I wanted to give context and maybe why this video is a little more relevant. So let's watch this real quick.
Because we're fighting against the military service and against war. We as a youth don't want to die
We as a
in
youth.
wars because of Germany.
They're saying it's voluntary, but they also announced that if there aren't enough volunteers, which there will be not, they will go back to the mandatory service. So that's why
He's
we're
right,
protesting
though.
now instead of when it's too late.
He's
I
100%
personally
right.
do not think that military is an answer to anything. War is like always the worst thing you could even do.
Okay, look, I'm not trying to be. Sometimes the only way we figure shit out is through war, and that's the sad truth. But at the end of the day, the first option obviously should not be war, and it's not It's not for the case of Germany as well. Like they're not saying by doing this they're going to go to the war. They're just saying they're trying to prepare for war. Like they're trying to have preparations. And I understand that that can sound one and the same a little bit. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of examples of countries definitely doing that to take advantage of. In this case, though, we can see, like all of us, like we're all online. We can see the footage of what's going on with the Ukraine-Russia war. If Russia was this quote-unquote military threat, that war would have been over 3 years ago. The thing for I'm 23 right now, turning 24, and that war started my sophomore year of college. And the funny thing is that there was actually a foreign exchange student from Germany so we were kind of talking a little bit about this, and he was giving me some, just, I guess, the lore, what's going on over there. But I was a sophomore in college when this Ukraine-Russia war started, and I remember if you would have asked me then, this war would have been done like that. I think a lot of us actually had that thought. But as the war goes on and on, I think what this reminds me of is more World War One. Because the lines, it's like trench warfare in a way. Like the line just goes up, down, or up, down, up, down, up, down, and then it just stays. Just the line really hasn't moved. Like maybe Russia gets little gains here or there just because they've been throwing massive bodies at it. But that's at the same time Ukraine has been doing a lot of drone warfare. But Ukraine has also been losing a lot of boys of their own. So this war has gone to a point where no one's winning. No one's really winning. I guess you can argue that Russia has gained land, so they're technically winning. But, Putin's original plan was to go to full Kiev. Like, he was planning to be already in Kiev, probably having I believe when the Russian soldiers first went over to Ukraine, like, they were coming over prepared with their celebration gear. Russia's expectations were, like, at least from Putin's perspective, that they were going to be steamrolling Ukraine, but it didn't happen. Part of that is because of all the support they've had. I don't believe personally Ukraine would have been able to hold their own without the support of the other countries, just because of, Russia is a big power, so I don't know if they would have been able to do it, but with the support of all the allies, they've been able to keep in the fight more. But then you got to start asking the question, how long is enough, and when does this end? I think those are some important questions.
I believe it's very important that we, the young people, can stand up for our interests and
I appreciate the
tell
Germans for speaking English here on this one.
the old people that have all the powers to decide about a lot of things, that we still exist. We are the future of this nation. We are the future of the world entirely. I don't want to be part of this war machine, so I'm definitely protesting that we will not be forcefully included into the army.
Yeah,